Hi guys, I'm Courtney, and this is a domino. When I was younger, I would set up a whole line of dominoes so that when one fell over, it would knock the next one down. Kind of like what the cat does in this video. This is called the domino effect. It's the idea that one thing can cause something else to happen. Maybe many other things can happen. And today we're going to talk about the Good Samaritan. So I know that many of you are already familiar with the story, but just to kind of freshen your memories, there is a lawyer, someone who has studied the law that's in what we call the Bible now, and he wants to know how he can go to heaven one day. So he asks Jesus, and Jesus says, well, what does the law say? I mean, he's a lawyer, he should know, right? He says, well, the Bible says that we should love God and love our neighbor. Just to kind of paraphrase there. But the lawyer has another question. Who exactly is my neighbor? You see, the lawyer wants to know, how can I check off that particular law? How can I get to heaven doing the bare minimum? Who is it I have to be kind to? Is it the people who live on each side of my home? Is it all the people in my town? Is it going to be all the people who look like me or who worship the same God as me? And God answers this question by telling about the Good Samaritan. There is a man who is traveling to Jericho, and it says that he is traveling down to Jericho. So if you look at this picture, you'll see that the road to Jericho is a very steep downward road in a desert like area. There are some places there where people can hide and jump out and attack people. It was known to be a very dangerous road. So, as this man, who is probably Jewish, since he's going from Jerusalem down to Jericho, as he is traveling, some robbers jump out and they beat him up very, very badly. He would die if he's left there, and they take everything that he has. Along comes a priest, and a priest is someone who would know the law, who would do all kinds of rites and rituals in the temple, which is like a church, what we would use today. And this priest doesn't help. It says he crosses on the other side of the road. Well, you saw the road's pretty narrow. So crossing on the other side of the road might still mean he's having to step over maybe an arm or a leg of that hurt man as he continues to travel, depending on where they are on the road, of course. Then a Levite comes, and a Levite would be someone who's kind of like a church worker. So this person would also be someone you would expect to do the right thing. But again, he doesn't. He continues down to Jericho. Finally, along comes a Samaritan. Now, the Samaritans and the Jews were big time enemies. They despised each other. And I'm sure that the Samaritan knew that the hurt man was Jewish. Instead of walking on by, he stops to help the man. He bandages his wounds, he takes him to an inn, and he pays the innkeeper there to care for the Jewish man until he gets better. So, back to the context of the story, remember, Jesus is answering the question for the lawyer, who is my neighbor? And he asks the lawyer, who do you think was the neighbor here? And he must say, well, the neighbor was the one who stopped and helped him. The idea here being that we're not supposed to necessarily look for laws to check off, check did this, check did that. Instead, we're supposed to have a heart change. We are supposed to become the neighbor to those that we see have a need that we can meet. Becoming a Christian, loving our neighbor, it's not about a list of check marks. Instead, it's about living your life in a way that pleases God instead of just pleases us ourselves. And when we do that, when we are kind to people who don't deserve it, who are probably not going to tell us thank you, and this sort of action will probably cost us something. I'm sure the Samaritan's friends and family would not be happy to know that he helped the Jewish man. But when we obey God and we do these things, we can start a kind of domino effect in our own communities. So, what will you do? Who will you help? What kind of change in the world can you make? Think about it.
That was a dumb thing to say.
Look, man, I'm sorry, all right?
Sorry?
Yeah, man, I'm sorry, all right?
You don't look sorry.
Just leave me alone. Come on, man, chill. You know I didn't mean it.
Dumb football players, huh?
Sorry, all right?
Is that what you mean? Do you feel that?
Get off! Ah, come on, man, stop! Come on, man, stop!
What, you got a problem?
Help, please, help me.